Hello everyone. Here to let you know what happened on Alone, Season 9, Episode 7. Show the journey up to day 42 of some of the contestants. Only one actually they did not show was um Pablo. Tomojin showed him. He was just fooling around on day 40, taking it easy, chilling at his campsite. Decided to celebrate Canada Day by taking one of his underwear. Each contestant allowed to bring up to 1 to 2 pairs of underwear with them. And one of them had like the Canadian logo and Happy Canada on it. And he stuck that on top of his tent there, to shelter there, to celebrate Canada Day. And then on day 42, he was out hunting. And last week he got lucky as he got 3 grouse back to back. Well, this week there was 2 squirrels running up and down a tree. He fired 3 times at the squirrels. He only got 1 of them. He said, well, one's better than none. So he took that squirrel back up, went to the beach where he has his homemade beach shelter cooking thing there, cooking tent. Style thing is built there, so like I said, no predators, he said too as well, would get at his campsite. Roasted the squirrel up over a quick homemade campfire and sat down and chewed on it. I ate that. Jessie. The only progress Jessie's done is she punched a hole in her tarp, on top of her tarp because it rained, to let the water pour into her bowl inside of her shelter so she can have some water to drink. I don't know why she decided not to get outside and do it that way, instead of puncturing a hole through her tarp. But anyhow, then she decided she wanted to make her shelter more to feel more at home. So she went out, got some plants, some leaves, some flowers she found, and she just decorated her shelter with that to, have that feel home vibe. Carrie Lee, she accidentally sat on her stash of berries inside of her shelter, so she had to go out and gather some more berries. Then she decided that's all she's been living off of is berries mostly now. So she decided to make it like a berry jam. That way she could preserve it and that. That thing was just bubbling up over the campfire there. She kept stirring it with a stick, making it like a jam. Then she drank some of it. Then she checked her squirrel traps and she caught a nice fat-sized squirrel, folks. Like that thing was like huge. Like that thing's been eating well for quite a while. Like she said, look at the meat that thing's gonna have. She cooked that thing right up over the campfire. That thing has some meat on it, folks. That squirrel was fat. Yep. She chowed down on that squirrel, folks. Adam, he was just cutting up some firewood and 2 grouse flew overhead and landed where he was at. And so he slowly dropped the hatchet. Quiet, he picked up his bow and arrow and he killed both the grouse. He got 2 of them back to back, like Tomojin did last week with 3 in a row. He cooked those up, had them for dinner. Then he was just out and about walking through the woods and that, and he found an old wooden plaque that somebody had man-made. It's kind of like somebody would put a platform to walk on the edge of the lake to fish off of, or to put over like a gap between like in the woods or something. If you don't want to jump down and climb back up the embankment, you just walk across it, kind of thing. So he took that back to camp with him. And he tore up some boards and used some of the nails and made a door for his shelter. He said, not for fancy, but hey, I'm going to use them whatever I can find here. Now, Terry and Tom. Tom made a lamp. This was pretty cool. He took 3 sticks, tied them together with rope, and then he found some kind of mushroom. I forget the name of it. I'm sorry, folks. And he said, it's just like a piece of wood. He said, you just keep carving away at it. He said, till you get to the inner part of the mushroom. He said, well, it's just white, plain white. He said, and this type of washroom kind of is like a mirror. And it, you hold it up to the sun, the UV light, it just reflect right off of like a mirror. That's cool. I did not know that. That's an awesome fact to find out on Alone. So he made a homemade lamp for his shelter. It's pretty cool how he did it. He told us he has killed 1 whiskey jack, 1 rabbit, 19 squirrels, 15 grouse so far. He's on a freaking roll, man, folks, getting food. he was just out bell hunting on day 41, and he just happened to turn beside him, and there was a grouse right beside him, like behind the tree. Fired that thing, pitched it perfect with his bow and arrow, took that back to camp, cooked it up. Then on day 42, an accident happened. He was working on his shelter. He decided to extend it more, kind of make like a side entrance to go into his shelter that opens up. Well, he was putting like some spruce tree branches and all that on the roof, and he slipped and fell, and his back landed on a stump. You could hear him cry out in agony and pain, folks. He went to bed that night. He could not sleep at all. He was in so much pain. And now he's finding he's like losing his balance, kind of. Like he's walking carefully on a deadfall, and he slips and lands on the side and all that. I think he did something to his back. That's what he thinks as well. He's in so much agony and pain. I hope that's not the end for Tom. I think he did suffer a back injury. And I read online, a lot of people think that's what happened as well. That's why he keeps like sliding and all that and losing his balance too because of a back injury. Now, Terry's noticed that the beaver meat that he preserved is getting low in quantity. So he's got to go get some other food for different vitamins, different protein and that. But he's losing weight still. He doesn't understand it, but he realized he thinks it's because he's dehydrated. Lack of, water in that. He's staying at summer clamps. He went fly fishing on day 40. He couldn't even do that. He was so exhausted. And that he just went back to camp. On day 42, he had a campfire going. And he thought he felt warmer than usual. And he took off 3 sweaters he had. And he still found it very hot. So he was worried that something was happening to him. So he took his shirt off. And folks, he's not like a rack of bones. Hardly no skin on him at all. So he, of course, the medical team that keeps tabs on what's happening with people and that decided something's going on with Terry. They came by to do the medical checkup on him. And they pulled him from the contest show. He's gone home. Terry's left. They said that he was severely dehydrated. Lost too much weight. And Terry said the only thing he could think of that he did wrong was he spent the first 8 days building his shelter instead of going gathering for food. But he said anything else he's done this show up to now, he said, I don't regret a single thing I did. He said he wanted to stay. He did. He wanted the medical team to let him keep going. But the medical team said if they let him stay in the condition he was in with the weight loss and being severely dehydrated, he said that he was at risk of his organs starting to shut down on him. So they ended up pulling him for the contest, folks. So Terry went home. Now we're down to 6, but it looks like Tom might be on his way out too because of that accident he had there, falling on a stump off the roof of his shelter right on his back. Let me know below if you've seen this show. Do you think Tom's going to be the next one to go because of the accident he had? What do you think of Terry being pulled out of the show due to medical reasons? Let me know below, folks. And also, they announced something new. Alone, starting in August, is going to have a second show. For the first time ever, they're going to have contestants from the first 8 seasons compete for $500,000 in a 50-day challenge. Now, this is what's different. Usually they drop you off, out in the wild and that in certain areas, and before winter sets in. Well, this time, they're doing it when winter has set in. So that's the intriguing part. It's called Alone Frozen, I believe it's called. I can't wait to check it out because that's going to be cool. Seeing the former contestants. There's some I had never seen before. Might be some familiar faces I have seen on the show. And it's cool that they're going to do it right when winter's starting. Like the snowstorms, the blizzards and all that. And like the lake's going to be frozen. There's going to be snow on the ground. They got to build a shelter right off the get-go. And that's going to be twice as hard now. So cool. I'm curious to see how that show goes. Stay safe, everybody. Too sweet. Bye.